We're back. Hey everyone, it's Dave, and this is 40k at 42. I'm back. I have a big update. I've got some more stuff. Voila! And the pile grows. Yeah, I mean, it is definitely growing. This has to do with getting tournament ready. I'm trying to figure out what my list is. That's actually one of the big things I want to talk about today on the video. I've been looking at the units and trying to put a list together. Been looking at other people's lists. There's a lot of stuff coming in from tournaments, you know, a lot of intel, a lot of tech, a lot of combos, a lot of strategy. It's cool. We just had the Tacoma Open this weekend. I don't know if you guys watched it. It was an Orcs versus Orcs final, which is crazy. The number of rounds that you'd have to win to get to the finals, or let alone win the finals, is crazy. Maybe crazier than the World Cup. These boxes here, all of this stuff, that's from the earlier purchase. That was from a couple weeks ago. I started putting some of that stuff together. That was like the Dreadnoughts, 2 Vindicators, a Lancer, a whole bunch of squads, a whole bunch of like special characters. And then the stuff that just came in, this is the stuff I'm pretty excited about. This is like on this stack here. It's a couple Deathwing Knights, and some Stern Guard units, and some other special characters, also librarians, stocking up on librarians, hoping that they don't take out the Nerf bat too hard. So tomorrow is the big MFM data slate update. I don't know what you call it, but it's the big balancing update now. The 11th has been out for a little bit, and I'm really hoping to survive, at least with my stuff. I'm hoping to survive any sort of crazy points changes. I think the thing I'm worried about the most, and I know other people are probably worried about the same thing, Librarius Conclave is really cool, but it's also very powerful, and it's been showing up a lot in top tournament lists for Space Marines. Anytime you have a Psyker in the unit, they benefit from the Librarius Conclave Psychic Discipline, and you can change these Psychic Disciplines almost like, I guess, the other disciplines, like Gladius Task Force and stuff like that. So anyways, Librarius Conclave just lets you do all these like interesting combos. I think the notorious one everyone knows about is if you take a librarian with Fusillade enhancement, you pretty much like pump your Stern Guard pretty crazy. So that's a pretty obvious one. I picked it up because it's a really good combo. It's a really nice shooting brick, and I want to have that in any list that I bring to Wales. So I could see Fusillade going up in points. Right now, when you look at the enhancements on the Librarius Conclave detachment, the enhancements are kind of priced weirdly. I think Fusillade is pretty cheap at 20. Celerity, which I don't think I see a lot of people running, is like 35. It's actually quite expensive. So I could see them tweaking like enhancement prices. I wanted to make this video today just to have the before and after, you know, like to have today's like hopeful. I hope they don't squash my list. And then tomorrow's reaction video of, okay, we're screwed, now what? But I don't know. As you can see, it's way more than 2,000 points. So I have some options. I think I can swap in like Dreads or Vindicators or whatever if I want to. I have some options on which squads I even take. So actually, I saw an interesting list that was running Azrael and Intercessors, which is cool. Azrael also gives sustained hits to units. The Horde armies are still in full effect. I think Orcs proved that, right? So being prepared for lots of infantry is, I think, maybe even more crucial than having more anti-tank. It is 8 rounds guaranteed, so I'm going to play 8 rounds. I'm going to play it out. Unless for some reason it's 6 rounds and you only get to play 8 if you're like advancing or something. And I think I'm more likely to face, I don't know, 75% of the field will probably have more infantry in their list than something like big tanks or big monsters. I like don't expect to play any Knights lists. I say this now, and then the tournament report in a few weeks, it's going to be like, all I played was Knights for 8 rounds, you know? Oh, I guess that's another thing too. This reminds me from like my Magic days. If you're losing, you end up in the losing bracket, and the losing bracket tends to have a completely different meta than the winning bracket. If you end up in the losing bracket, you could face a whole bunch of like these off meta decks like I'm running. Then it's kind of like, you know, it's a bit of a shit show, right? It's just like all over the place. But whatever, I don't know. I'm too new of a player to be metagaming too hard. I'm still going to do some of it just so that I'm, you know, best foot forward. I was really liking what I was seeing for the unit selection in Dark Angels. I do like some of the characters. Azrael, I think, is great. It feels like the same switch how people in Ultramarines are moving to Marnius and they're not running Gilliman so much. I mean, Gilliman's expensive. So yeah, we'll see. That's kind of general update for now. In terms of the hobbying and painting, it's going pretty good. Also, you can see on the back, I've got a infiltrator squad that I was able to do, I think 80% of the work, and they should be ready. I guess I have to base it too. Basing's a weird one. Like, I don't know how you guys do this, but I mean, it would be really nice in a perfect world if I did have time to do like a really nice base set for the army, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have time for that. So something simple like, white glue and a whole bunch of brown sand and maybe Nuln oil, hit it with the Nuln. That's probably about it. But I don't think I'm going to be doing like, tactical rocks and all these like crazy bases for the heroes and stuff like that. There's no time. At the moment, the only stuff I have painted is 2 dreadnoughts. One of them's blue, so it's like 1.5 dreadnoughts. And the infiltrator squad, I've finished assembling one of the Vindicators. I have some assembled characters, and I guess I do have a Librarian Phobos armor and a Captain. But I still got a ways to go. So what's going to happen this week is I've got the new Dark Angel stuff in that I know I pretty much definitely absolutely want to run. I'm going to be putting the 2 Sternguard bricks together. I want to run both of them if they don't get annihilated by points tomorrow. And I'm definitely running at least 1 Death Knights brick. So the Deathwing Knights, I keep saying Death Knights. This is like World of Warcraft hangover. So I think first things first is the Deathwing Knights brick. I really want that. And that's going to also have Librarian Terminator armor. And I think if it still makes sense, I'll do the Ancient too. Would be nice for all the extra wounds and extra OC. So if the points don't change dramatically and we can still do the Sternguard combo, it's going to be Sternguard tomorrow and then maybe a second Sternguard rest of the week. Oh, one other thing. I was doing something last night. You guys might find this interesting. So I was trying to figure out all the different leader and support combinations. I don't know if all the armies work like this, but there's a unit that can have a leader attached to it, and you can also have like a support character attached to it. So you can attach 2 special individual characters to a unit. For the different leaders, like which leaders can attach to which units, and which support characters can also attach to the same units. So I ended up making a spreadsheet. This is like the producer. This is the producer DNA inside me. I was trying to figure out exactly like which leaders gave which buffs or which auras or which, triggered buffs and stuff like that to different units. Because I was really trying to figure out like the combinations. It doesn't seem like 40k is at a point anymore where it just comes down to like the stats on your weapon or the stats on your gun or whatever. It's all about kind of stacking these bonuses, whether you're stacking like rerolls or plus to hit or negative to hit or, dev wounds, sustain, lethal, all these things. So I was really trying to just look for like what leaders have what stackable bonuses with the unit. And then also looking through like the detachment bonuses and the detachment equipment and which leaders could take certain detachment equipment, and then trying to figure out the best combinations of like leader plus attachment plus detachment plus unit, and then what do you end up with as like the best shooting profile or the best toughness profile or the best melee profile. Right now, like I said, I've got this Deathwing Knights package that I want to run, and it runs a Librarian Terminator armor as the leader. It runs an Ancient, just, for extra wounds and for the banner bonus and stuff. I just want to be able to run it, and I think like smashing this onto the center objective would be pretty cool. I think I see some other people doing that. I think running 2 would be neat. That's why I picked up Belial. Potentially have Belial running the second unit. I don't know if maybe it just makes sense to have a Chaplain or a Librarian and Terminator armor running the second brick, but Belial seemed pretty cool. I don't know. I just picked him up just in case I felt like running him in the second Deathwing Knights brick. So yeah, there's those, and then we already talked about the Sternguard combos. We've got the Sternguard bricks. Those are like a really well-known combo. I think maybe lesser known, or maybe people are starting to pick this up. Azrael gives sustained hits to the unit also, and that's specifically Dark Angels. So for me, I was thinking like you can run 1 Librarian with the Fusillade combo in the Sternguard brick, and all of a sudden you get sustained plus dev wounds and stuff. But I was thinking if you take Asriel plus a lieutenant in a second Sternguard brick, that's the same combo. So you get sustained and lethal, dev wounds, all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I think like why not run two of the best combo bricks out there? I think it doesn't get the anti-monster, anti-vehicle, which is a really nice feature with the librarian one, which comes with Fusillade. But in terms of just like an infantry blender, which is something we need to bring, you know, because there's a lot of infantry, the Asriel Sternguard Lieutenant combo might actually be really nice. So I'm going to try that. You know, maybe the lieutenant's extra. Maybe you really don't need the lieutenant, but I think they're only like 40 or 45. So kind of like, why not? Why not add a few extra wounds to the unit? One other combo I really like that I saw, again, this is Librarius Conclave, Inner Circle Champions, which are quite melee focused and kind of glass cannons, as I understand it. If you add a librarian to that unit, they get a 4-up invuln, which is nice. So it makes them tankier like immediately off the bat. And then if you add something like Celerity, they get a whole bunch of this like move and charge, fall back and charge, which is nice. I was thinking if you put them in like a Land Raider Redeemer, you could really increase the effective like threat range of that unit. So you could have the Redeemer in the back, run them up, assault ramp, they get out, charge. Yeah, the threat range for Inner Circle Champions just becomes enormous, you know? Also, you could run a lieutenant in that, I think. I really like the lieutenants. I know maybe a lot of people don't run them, but why wouldn't you want to have lethal hits, you know? Maybe there's some weird interaction between lethal and dev wounds that people don't like, but I think they fixed that in 11th where you can choose. Yeah, these are nitty-gritty specifics I probably should figure out for the tournament, but for now, just kind of running... following my nose, yeah. Okay, well, I have a ton to assemble and paint. So wish me luck. I'm going to get started on this. And let's see what happens tomorrow with the Data Slate balancing changes. I wonder what's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see how bad it is. And then I'll try to do a video in the next couple of days recapping that and also talking about, maybe honing in on exactly what my list is going to be for the tournament. And I'll show you guys how far I got in the models. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for me. Have a great day, and I'll catch you guys soon.